How about this southern snapshot? Wartrace, Tennessee. Listen to the music. Yes, that's great music. That's guitars, made specifically by a father and son team in the great Wartrace, Tennessee. Listen to their story in their own words.
I think the special thing about Wartrace is the people that live here. There's not many communities left in America now where you can leave your door unlocked and have such great friends and family all around you. It's a town of 600, about a square mile. If you blink, you miss it. When grandfather started the company, he was about 50 years old, so my father was 18 when they started Gallagher Guitar. But before that, there was the Shelby Guitar, which was a company that was in Shelbyville, Tennessee. And my grandfather was hired there because of his craftsmanship. It was actually at Arnold Air Force Base where he met the guy that later hired him at the Shelby plant. And one thing my grandfather never liked was low quality stuff. And these guitars he worked there from 63 to 64, and so did my father. In 64, actually, my father spent the summer spraying lacquer finishes and teaching the guys at the shop how to spray lacquer finishes because he had experience doing furniture with my grandfather.
When I was in high school, I used to help Dad, after school and in summers with the furniture, mainly doing finish work. Because I wasn't really quite old enough to be running power tools. And he used lacquer finish and also used shellac finish on the furniture. And then in the early 60s, we almost by fate got into building guitars. There was a company in Chicago, Slingerland Drum Company, that had a subsidiary plant in Shelbyville that made the Mylar plastic drum heads and drumsticks for the Slingerland drums. And he decided he wanted to start making guitars because of the increased interest in guitars due to the Beatles and Elvis and all that, and the folk guitar movement, or folk music movement.
My father would tell you that a big part of what they did early on was artist input. They used artists like Doc Watson, Peter Paul and Mary, Peter Yarrow. They took these guitars, these guys, and said, hey, what do you like about this guitar? What would you change if this was your guitar? And I think that's what made it different. In fact, I feel like it gave them an advantage. Because at that point, if they had played guitar, they might have just said, well, this is what I like. But instead, they got that information from artists. They were using those guitars on a daily basis. Right. And that's how they were able to develop the product.
One of the most foresightful things my father did was develop a ledger and a scrapbook. So we record each guitar that we make, a serial number, who got the guitar, when it left the shop. If it comes back in for any kind of repair work, we'll note that. So we keep a running record of the instruments. And one reason that was done is so that we could get feedback of what was going on with the guitars once they left the shop.
Yes, 68001, that was the first guitar that was built for Doc Watson. And you actually see in there, crack repaired. There's a neat story behind that as well. That's kind of why we have the guitar now, and it's called Old Hoss. And that guitar was in the Country Music Hall of Fame from '74 till 2008 when we got it back. But Doc Watson just loved that guitar, and grandfather didn't want to let it go because it had a crack in it, because he was really stickler about everything had to be perfect when it came out. And so what he did, he made a deal with Doc Watson and said, as long as you're using this guitar, you keep it. But if you ever stop using it, I'd like to have it back because it has a crack in it. I don't want it out in circulation. So in '74, we built the first Doc Watson model. And when we shipped Doc that guitar, at this point, we had no idea that he would send it back because he'd done so much for us by this time. But he did. He held to his word and sent it back with strap and all. And that's how it ended up in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
We approached it more from a woodworking perspective. Stephen, when he was in the 6th grade, I gave him a guitar and got him set up to take some guitar lessons. After he graduated from college, we got him hooked up with Jim Wood, who's just an excellent music instructor, and he took lessons from him and really focused on that, and really has done a great job with his playing. And that gives another dimension to what he can contribute to the business.
There is a part of me that would love to just go out and play music. There's something that's special about music that has a healing power and really is a powerful thing.